born, did your parents have a big influence on who you are today, and how was your childhood?
I was born in Sacramento, California. I would definitely say that my mother had a big influence on my life because growing up, it was mainly just my mom. She was a single mom. Um, my father was never in the picture, and actually, my grandmother played a big role in my life and a lot of the decisions that I made, and she tried to guide me down the right path because my mom wasn't around very often.
Okay. And do you have a story you remember clearly about your childhood?
Yes, I remember being about probably about 11 or 12 years old, and I had stayed the night at my grandma's house with one of my best friends, and we were actually over there to do all the Christmas wrapping. My grandma used to pay me to wrap all the presents for her. And somebody knocked at the door, and I went and answered the door, and there was a man there who asked if my grandma was home, and I said, yes, she's home. And then I asked him who he was, and he basically was kind of avoided my question, but I asked him again, who are you? You know, who's at the door? And it was my dad, who had just showed up completely unannounced and pretty much shocked me that I opened the door to that.
To leave your comfort zone?
I would say probably from about 8th grade all through high school. I lived with my mom, and we lived alone, and she was in a relationship with somebody, and she would maybe come home once or twice a week, but I very rarely saw her. I pretty much had to fend for myself, do my own laundry, buy my own groceries, figure out how I was going to eat that day. I mean, simple things like school clothes and getting a ride to school or coming home. I didn't have that typical parental help. I had to pretty much do everything for myself. And even when I finally got my driver's license, with which my friend's mom took me to get my driver's license, I had to save up, and I got a job. I started working when I was 15, and I got a job and bought my own car, had to pay my own insurance. So pretty much I would say from the time I was like about 14, I had to take care of myself in every aspect of everything. There was a period after my grandma had passed away where I didn't talk to her for years. I was pretty upset at the whole situation and the fact that when my grandmother died, and she was such a big part of our lives, that she was not there, she wasn't around, she was no comfort to anybody in the family, and especially me. She pretty much just left me to deal with everything, including making all the funeral arrangements and dealing with all like her affairs and all of that. And I was 16 years old doing that. So after she passed away, I didn't talk to her probably for like 2 or 3 years. And then we came back into each other's lives again and established a relationship, and actually that kind of fell apart again too. And there was another period where we didn't talk, and when I had your little brother, Gio, she wasn't there, she wasn't around, so that was really hard for me to go through all of that by myself. On my 16th birthday, I found out, my grandma, we were having a dinner at her house, and she pulled me to the side and basically said, I need to talk to you about something. And I found out that he had overdosed on my birthday, and his family, the way they think it happened is they think he committed suicide on my birthday, on my 16th birthday. And then also another big loss was my grandma was a big part of my life. She pretty much filled in and played that motherly role for me. And right after I graduated from high school, a couple months later, she had cancer, and we all knew she had cancer, but it progressed so quickly. And I was the only one that was there with her when she passed away. I'm trying to be the best parent I could be, but my time is limited. You know, I have to work full time, and there's 3 of you, so I'm trying to divide my time up between 3 different kids and try to be at everybody's activities, their sports, their soccer, and whatever else. And a lot of times it's hard to be at every place at the same time. Right. And just, you know, just seeing there being times where we've been at school events or, you know, a dinner or a fundraiser or a function, and most of the time I am the one that's there by myself, and it makes me feel bad for you guys that you don't have both sets of parents there. Mm-hmm. You know, when your dad and I split up, that was a pretty drastic moment in my life. I obviously didn't plan to be a single parent.
And you were so young.
And I was young, and I kind of got everything thrown at me, from a mortgage payment and figuring out how we were going to pay our bills, and me working, and I was still pregnant with your brother, and it made me realize that I was a lot stronger than I thought I was, because there was a point when I thought I couldn't do everything and wouldn't be able to make it, and it's just made me that much more determined to just work hard and be able to provide for you guys. But it was hard in the beginning, because I really would sit there sometimes at night and think, oh my gosh, you know, where are we going to live? I can't afford to make this house payment, and how am I going to buy this, and how am I going to buy that, and how will I do it? But, you know, I've kind of learned that somehow things always seem to work themselves out, and it's not always easy, but if you want something bad enough, you figure out a way to get it done. I just know that I want to be the type of person that's always there for you guys, and you know, I want to try to set the best example I can. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I try. And my grandma was a very loving person, no matter what went on. You know, my grandpa left her when my mom was only like 16 years old, and she got thrown into a situation with 3 kids on her own. But she always put her kids first, no matter what. They were her priority. They were pretty much her life, and she did for them whatever she could, no matter what. She made herself available to them, and that's pretty much how I've tried to be too. I'd say live every day like it's your last, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, that's it.
Okay. Goodbye.